And welcome back to Sure It'll Be Grand, as Owen just said in that intro every week. I'm not sure where I'm rambling on with the sentence, but hello everyone! It's Daniel and Owen. Say hello, Owen.
I don't know if I want to know.
You should.
You just attacked me.
I didn't actually. How did I attack you? I said, you said something in a voice line. Yeah, the bloody cheek in you.
Yeah, very cheeky. Anyway, hi.
Yeah. Hi, Owen. How are you?
I'm grand. I'm okay. I'm doing well, I suppose. Yeah.
And you're welcome back to a podcast that's all about two Irish Egypts, talking about two Irish Egypt things.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. This is my podcast, where I invite Owen over and other guests. It just happens that no one else wants to come on. So Owen has been taking the spot for the last, year and a half or something like that.
It's nearly. We're coming up on. No, we're coming up on a year.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was more a year
we're
and
near.
a half.
We're near a year since from our first episode releasing. I think.
Jesus.
I think it's next month sometime.
That's terrifying. Okay, cool.
Clearly we have something huge planned to celebrate that.
Yeah, this is all a facade,
Facade?
Facade? What's the word for it?
Facade.
Facade. See, I read it more than I say it.
Yeah, I was thinking you said facade in conversation recently as well, and I was like, oh, that is a word Dan has only ever read.
Yeah. People don't really say it often, do they?
Facade.
Facade. Yeah. It's a bit Frenchy, isn't it?
It's probably a French word.
Probably a French. Yeah, they probably borrowed it.
Most French words are a bit Frenchy.
It does have a little je ne sais quoi,
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
What have you been up to for the last 2 weeks, Owen?
Oh,
well, not 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Everything. I've done everything.
How are the spooky crocodiles going?
They're not quite spooky enough yet.
Okay,
they'll get there.
Do you want to explain what I'm saying there, or should we just leave it for them to think about?
I want to offer no context to that question at all.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. Have you been up to anything mad? Any projects? Any messing around? Except for the spooky crocodiles?
Not really, to be honest. I've been very busy with work the last while.
Yeah.
7
days.
I've been doing a whole lot of stuff. I decided, perhaps against my better judgment, to attempt to get up to date with Riverdale last week. I watched like 2 episodes and went, oh my god. Love it.
I've been watching. Okay. Yeah.
Sabrina is coming to it next season.
Because she doesn't have a show to go back to, is it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they wanted, like, when Sabrina was also on the air, they were like teasing that they were set in the same universe, and they were like talking about doing a crossover thing. And then Sabrina got cancelled. So I think now they're just going to be like, yeah, Sabrina's going to be in Riverdale now. I'm pretty sure.
Magic in that show yet?
In Riverdale, no. There's been a. Honestly, it's surprising that I've said no because of all the other mental stuff that's been going on in Riverdale. There's been cults and like baby stealing. This season there's a whole big plot about the possibility of people being abducted by aliens called Mothmen.
Mothmen aren't aliens.
Well, they are in Riverdale potentially.
Well,
maybe.
Do you know it's an actual
Mothman is a thing.
Urban legend.
Yeah, but these are called. They're in Riverdale. They're calling them Mothmen.
Okay.
And they're like potentially people are getting abducted by them, but it's probably knowing Riverdale, it's just going to be a serial killer who happens to be one of the main characters' dad, because they've done that a bunch of times too.
Okay. Okay. Every time I still try to connect it to like the comics. And I haven't read the comics much, but I feel like they work on a different theme. The show.
Oh yeah, I mean they massively, even in like season 1 was a hell of a lot more contained than it has grown into be. Season 1 was basically just here are the characters from Archie Comics. They're in high school and there's a murder mystery thing happening. Like that's the kind of the setting. They made it this sort of neo-noir vibed kind of like, that sort of thing. And it was really good. Like, genuinely, I will tell people this, anyone Like the first season of Riverdale is actually like it is full of your typical like CW teen drama tropes from at times, but it's genuinely very good. It's well put together. It's a nice like modern twist on using like the Archie characters and stuff. But it's not. It's weird because Archie comics have so much shit. Like there's a series of Archie comics where all of the characters are vampires and werewolves and stuff. So like it's not your like
a
basic
newer thing for them to change.
Yeah, it's not like Riverdale is not your basic like 6-panel comic strip of Archie going, "Who do I choose, Betty or Veronica?
Yeah.
I'm Ginger." It's not that, but it is. There's so much stuff in Archie comics have published so much weird shit that it's probably there somewhere.
Enough. Okay. Any news? Anything? Look, I'd say that's something I've been watching. Like I've been watching Why the Last Man, which, as you may or may not know, is based on the comic. It's on Disney Plus at the moment. It's coming out weekly. The premise being like one day everyone on Earth who has a Y chromosome dies, except one fella and this monkey, which is not a euphemism. And yeah, it's a story that, in the grand scheme, they say that, all men are dead. But actually, I quite like what they're doing in the show, where they just explain, like, obviously there's plenty of women with Y chromosomes as well, and they died as well. And they're not trying to make it a masculine thing alone, which I kind of like. It's an interesting, direction to look at it. I think the comic... I'm not sure when the comic came out, probably 90s, maybe 2000s, where that kind of thing was.
Early 2000s, I feel like, no?
Yeah, yeah.
2003-ish,
So,
maybe?
The Friends era, so, transphobic.
Right at the end of Friends.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Picked up the baton right straight from Friends. Why the Last Man, the graphic novel.
Yeah. Yeah, but I loved the graphic novel as well, and I'm enjoying the show enough. The show is very different to the comic in a lot of plot points, but you know what? Like, the older I'm getting with adaptations and all that, I'm just look, even if they like ruin it, and I'm doing apostrophes here, like the original still exists. It doesn't ruin the original work. I can just enjoy what I enjoy, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a healthy attitude to have towards all of these adaptations, to be honest. That more people should probably feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, just because somebody else, like Matt Reeves making Batman is not going to mean Michael Keaton's Batman doesn't exist anymore. You can still that's still there. You can still watch it. Like, it's not like fine.
Like, yeah, look, hey, Warner Bros. is going to make a new Batman movie. We're going to burn all the stuff we had, and we're going to start new. It's like, what? We're going to...
Honestly, slightly off topic, but I think they need to do that with Batman at this point.
Just
not burn everything that exists, but I really think we need like 5 or 6 years where there's no Batman. Just stop making Batman. Just give it let us breathe. Let people go back and like Batman. I'm not a Batman fan, but like it's constant.
Well, look, you're a Spider-Man fan. It's the same fucking shit.
It's the same principle with all of them, I suppose, really.
Yeah, well, I think Batman and Spider-Man have it the most. Like, they're constantly coming back.
Yeah, and Batman, Spider-Man is probably the second on it, but Batman's definitely the top because there's been like seven Batman since 1980, whatever. Like, it's just
that's not even
like fucking Adam West even before that. Like, it's just constant Batman. There's never not been a Batman thing in production or
why did that click into our psyche so well?
Batman
just has to exist.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't get it, to be honest. But I don't really like,
Yeah.
There you go.
Other things I've watched. I finished What If, Marvel's What If. You know what? I felt it was a fairly alright show. Not middling stuff. I felt the second to last episode of the season was really very good. I thought the finale not as good. I mean, look, I don't know. It's Marvel at this stage. I like that they played with some ideas. Really, they did. There were some great moments in it. But I think I might just have to just put down Marvel for 2-3 years and then come back and see if there's anything that's, oh wow, this is interesting. Because I'm just burnt out. It's just too much. It's not even the quality at this stage, because all Marvel movies are okay. like that. Not bad movies. They're all right. If you want to go into cinema and have some popcorn enjoyed, that's what they are. And people giving out that they should be more than that, like, get a hold of yourself. This is what these movies are. Move on. Don't watch them.
You're shit out of luck, Dan, because I'm pretty sure they said last week Marvel currently has 36 different movies / TV shows in development. One of them they announced this morning is a WandaVision spin-off. It's about Agatha Harkness.
Well, that was always going to happen, to be honest.
I'm getting right out in front of this here. We won't be reviewing that one.
No, I will say I did like Agatha.
Agatha. But I'm not, because we did a
no. Look,
because we did the weekend for WandaVision. I'm not doing it for that.
I think it's fair to say, if we do go back to reviewing shows and all that, it'll be non-superhero stuff, because we've done the superhero stuff now. We'll look for something else if we are going to, in general.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'll tell you my problem with What If. Speaking as somebody who hasn't watched it, right?
Okay.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong. But because from what I've been reading about the end of it, right, they did like an Avengers type thing where all the guys came together. Yeah. So so were all of the like random What If episodes in the same universe?
No, they're also separate universes.
But then the last episode brought all the universes together.
The last 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
The appeal of What If was that it wasn't that. That it was just like, here's a bunch of random episodes going, hey, what if Star-Lord died? Or so, just like random, let's get kooky and crazy and a bunch of none of this matters. Weird. You don't have to fucking really care about it. And then they were like, actually, this might be, you might have to watch these because they might come up in the multiverse. And it's just like,
here's an odd one. When they brought all these heroes together, they got a Gamora from a universe that we didn't have an episode for.
Like, that's what I mean. Can they not just once
pick up complete? So if let's say you watched this season, right, and you watched all the ones. If they decide to get heroes from completely other What If universes, not the ones we've covered yet, and brought them together in a sort of a Avengers Unite kind of thing, would you enjoy that more?
Yeah, I think the I had like the appeal. The main thing when they announced What If for me was that like it wasn't going to be this big connected to everything thing. It was just Marvel finally going, let's have some fun with these things. Let's go fucking, let's
most of the season it did do that.
Yeah, but then they kind of at the end were still kind of like, actually, we're Marvel.
It's all, but here's the thing: a new thing doesn't have to ruin the things that came before.
No, but that's but it's the same show. It's not like if it's the same show,
it doesn't change anything. Like all those episodes didn't end with and then we're gonna team up. It didn't do that. They had their own normal ending to their episodes. It's just
within the show at the end was like, but
the last episodes, but like it wasn't. None of those plots were connected until the very end.
Well, then they were.
Like were they brought to this? All those plots up to then were independent on themselves. The last episode decided to pick them up and put them into a new plot.
Yeah, so why do that is my question.
Because people want to see all these cool people and everyone likes a fucking Avengers moment. That's just what Avengers do, don't they? They just put everything together and go, there's more of them now, so it's better.
Yeah, but the final episode could have just been it could have been a what if the Avengers were something else. Like it didn't need to be another, hey, what if all here, so kind of like the impression I'm getting is that to watch the last one, you still had to have watched the other episodes of What If, kind of, because otherwise it's just like. But then if it was the other thing, you would, I don't know. It's just fucking. I don't know, man.
Anyway, so that was What If. I've also been watching The Foundation. Isaac Asimov. What's it? Asimov. Yes.
Yeah. Foundation.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. Quite a grand scale, quite big. But some cool
foundation.
Yeah, obviously. Even though I was surprised how thin the first book was. Have you ever seen the first Foundation?
Yeah, thin, but
It's tiny.
up its own bum a little bit.
No, that's just how old sci-fi works, man.
Yes,
Yeah, I really like some of the aspects in it, like the Emperor having. You've read, yeah?
I haven't read all of them.
Yeah, but you know about the Emperor being three people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The child version, the middle-aged version, the old. I really like that. That's a cool sci-fi concept, if anything.
Mm.
But yeah, I've been watching that, and I've been trying to read the book, so I am kind of like in the know when I'm reading it. And then last of all, the June trailer, new June trailer came out. This was a trailer that actually started interesting me a lot more than the other.
I haven't seen it.
It's pretty good. It's gonna sound terrible. You're one from Spider-Man.
Zendaya.
It's she's almost like the focus of the trailer.
As she should be.
Actually, she's fantastic. You're one from Spider-Man.
Yeah. well, I mean, also her character in Dune is a big character. Like, it's not like it's just they're like she's a star.
Can't wait to read June's. And you're one from Spider-Man.
That's their character's name. Yeah.
Really forward thinking back then. But look, they just basically get anyone who's from Spider-Man who's a woman. Like in the past when they thought of this movie, they said, "Hey, you were in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie. Do you want to be one from Spider-Man in the Dune novels?" You know,
Kirsten Dunst. Yeah.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst is you're one from Spider-Man.
That's not to say that she's the one from the movie Spider-Man, but she is as well.
She's
it just
both.
helps. Yeah. So yeah, do you have any news? Anything you've been watching, or do you want to talk about except for Riverdale?
No.
You can say no.
No, I started a documentary thing on Netflix called "The Many Faces of Billy Milligan," or some
Who's
shit.
Billy Milligan?
Billy Milligan was a criminal in 1970s America. I think it was Ohio or somewhere. And he was like the first person. Well, not the first person, but he brought the like the defense of having multiple personality disorder to like kind of national attention in America. So he was diagnosed with multiple personality, like schizophrenia. I don't know if that's a correct term to use anymore, but he had they reckon he had 13 different personalities when he was initially being tested, and blah. It's about that. So the story is really interesting, but the documentary itself is really odd.
Awful.
It's just I'm gonna like the interview. It's your basic like now constant typical Netflix crime documentary setup, right? It's got everything,
yes.
you know. But the framing of the interviews in it is some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen. They've got people in such odd locations. They're interviewing Billy Milligan's sister, and she appears to be sitting in like government council offices, but she's like sitting in a tiny chair on a balcony, surrounded like she's like the tiny in the shot, and there's other stuff. They're interviewing like one of the police detectives who worked on the case at the time, and he's sitting in a golden bank vault just for no reason. They've got his brother, and his brother is being filmed in a diner, right? But you know those American style diners with all the booths? But he's not sitting in a booth. He's sitting on a tiny chair in the middle of the floor. And it's just it's just weird. It's just like every time I was like, what's happened? Why have they chosen this? Why is this man in a bank vault?
Are they meant to represent different personalities, or
I have no idea. It's like, why is this police detective in a bank vault? Why is this man sitting like this report? Like this other guy is like just sitting like, I guess in a like the back room of a public records office, just in between two like file shelves and stuff.
Okay.
It's just weird. It's just a weird thing, but the story is kind of interesting. So,
interesting.
Billy Milligan.
Hey, guess what?
What?
We reviewed a movie this week.
Oh, we didn't review it yet.
Well, we didn't, I suppose.
We're about to.
We're about to review it. Should we review it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, look. This week we watched A Silent Voice. It's a Japanese anime. It's also known as The Shape of Voice, which I think is actually the name of the manga. And it's made by Kyoto Animation. Actually, a pretty interesting animation studio. They're kind of very much push against the norm. A lot of times they bring people on as salary rather than freelancing, and they have people relaxed and working on they actually get taught inside the studio as well to become anime artists and all that kind of stuff. They have this kind of philosophy that they'd rather their artists focus on the frame than deadlines, which is, I mean, props. That's pretty fucking respectable, I think. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's ran by a husband and wife. Now, they've done a few things you probably wouldn't have heard of, but people in the anime industry would. The Melancholy of Harui, Suzy Mia, Clanat, K-On, Free, Sound Emporium, and Violet Evergarden, and of course our movie A Silent Voice. Really,
You are correct. I have not
Yes.
heard of any of those things.
yes, yeah. But look here. I think even though like anime and that kind of stuff is becoming far more widespread than it was, definitely people who are more into, I don't know, I don't want to say mainstream because you're into a lot of non-mainstream stuff as well. But like I think like anime is entering the mainstream more and more. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's definitely more in the mainstream now than it ever has been before.
Yeah. Even in the last 10 years, and I went to Mag Sock Tralee, word out, a society back in Tralee where I went to. Yeah, like even then, anime and manga weren't the mainstream. Not really. They were hidden. Like saying that, most of the geeky things in Ireland, like to go to, seem to be anime and manga at their heart. Like any sort of like even Comic Cons and stuff like that in Ireland have a big anime.
I think that because all of the formerly geeky things like comic books, like Western comic books, like Marvel and
Yeah.
DC and those kind of things, they are now just popular culture. They're not like
Yeah.
everybody knows them, everybody watches those movies, everybody's aware of the characters, everybody likes them. Anime has filled that void.
Yeah.
That it's now anime is it's still like it's a lot more popular than it was, but I'd say anime and manga is definitely still considered nerdy.
It is. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe like at least I can say in the West we're opening more and more to Southeast Asian sort of entertainment, like things like K-pop and Chinese video games and that kind of stuff. They're getting big in the West now, and you know, anime and manga already had their foot down in the West. So I can imagine the next 10 years.
Hey,
they'll become
Netflix is still rolling the dice on live action anime stuff. So
yes. I mean, I don't know why they
Stick
just don't
over it.
just give us more anime that's decent rather than just, you know, live stuff. But anyway, not all nice news from the studio though. You might have heard in 2019, there was an arson attack at their first ever studio. 36 people died, and
Jesus.
38 others were in various degrees of being hurt. Most of the material and computers were destroyed, and is due to a suspect, 41-year-old Shinji Aoba, who later admitted to committing the crime. He was also injured in the attack, but he escaped, and eventually he admitted to it and was hospitalized. The reason being is that apparently the studio held like a contest for writers to write their own stories, and he claimed to have had a story written in that they didn't reward them, and they used in like an episode of one of their shows. Courts have looked at it, and like it's very superficial connections, very stereotypical stuff. See, the guy seems to have had some mental issues in the past. But yeah, that's pretty devastating, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a bit
pretty
too
sets
high
the
pitched
tone.
there. Yeah, but yeah, okay. So A Silent Voice. This is the second time me watching. I think the first time I watched it was in cinemas with a couple of friends, and this is the first time for you.
It sure was.
Now, tell me, what kind of anime movies have you watched in the past and enjoyed? You can do the one that's right behind you if you want to start there.
Do you want like a list? Oh, you want the
No,
one
just
that
a
there's
few
a
that sticks
poster?
out. Just a
Or the
few
one
that
that I
stick
have
out.
a display on my wall?
Yeah, yeah. Go on, go on.
That would be Your Name,
Daniel. I didn't know there was an anime called Daniel.
The anime is called Daniel. Yeah.
Yeah, there probably actually is an anime called Daniel.
Yeah,
to be
probably.
fair.
Probably is,
Yeah.
yeah. Watched
yeah,
Your Name
Your Name.
by Makoto Shinkai. I've watched all of his work and I love him dearly. I mean, other than that, I don't know. I've seen the like the Dragon Ball movies and stuff like that. We watched.
Oh, have you seen the trailer for the Dragon Ball movie today?
No, I didn't see that. Don't spoil it on me.
Oh,
Oh, great! I'm excited. I mean, we watched Ghost in the Shell on this.
We did watch Ghost in the Shell. That thing, not a movie you liked, to be fair.
Nope. I don't know. We watched. I think I've seen Akira.
You think?
I don't know. Maybe I have.
Akira, one of the most phenomenal movies in movies.
Yeah.
I think I watched it. What?
I don't know.
You just watched that bike scene, didn't you?
Probably.
That's all.
That's the movie, right? That's the whole thing.
That's the entire movie. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just, on a bike.
I've seen the Digimon movie.
Yeah.
Great. Love it. Love it. Will stand by my perpetual opinion that Digimon is superior to Pokemon forever. I've seen the Pokemon movies. Yeah. Well, not all of them. Obviously, there's like 100 of them, but I've seen a lot of them.
You watched like half of them.
I watched when at the time there was about 14 released. I had seen all of them because I made a point to watch all of them. And now that was like 8 years ago, so now there's probably like 22 of them. So I haven't seen the new ones.
They've done some kind of weird light reboot with the movies as well, haven't they? Where it goes back into Ash's journey from the beginning.
I don't know, because there's a new there's like the main movies that are still sort of connected to the old ones where he's still Ash and he's still just meeting new legendary Pokemon, and then there's the new ones where Pikachu talks and stuff. So there's a couple of them that are like kind of started his story again, and then there's like the other just random ones where they brought back Mewtwo and stuff. Yeah, so I've seen a couple of those. So to answer your question, Dan, not a lot.
A lot because you've watched a lot of the Pokemon ones.
Yeah, I mean numbers wise that means a lot, but like
numbers you're doing pretty well. Yeah,
I don't really watch a lot of anime.
You don't have a great diaspora of movies you've watched.
No, not really.
No.
My viewing range of anime is quite limited. I've seen some of like what's his faces.
Oh, that's
you know your man that everybody loves. The studio that everybody
Raymond?
loves. The studio that no, not Raymond. I've seen the Everybody Loves Raymond anime. That one's wild. That shit. Oh my god.
The detail. Mwah.
They really captured the essence of why everybody loves Raymond. It's just great. No, the why can't I think of his name? The Ghibli Studio Ghibli.
Oh,
yeah, those guys. I've seen some of them.
Yes, Mr. Ghibli that everyone loves. Is it?
What's his name? I can't think of his name.
No, go on, figure it out.
It's the head of Studio Ghibli, Totoro.
Cool.
What's him?
Mr. Totoro Ghibli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, we know Owen's a connoisseur of anime movies anyway.
Clearly.
All right, let's go on to our next section.
I mean, what the hell is going on?
So, the story is about Shoya, who is, I guess, in his late teens, probably very close to leaving school, and he is very antisocial, anxious about everything, sees giant symbolic X's over people's faces, and doesn't want to interact with anyone. And he, at one stage, sees a girl that he remembers from, I guess, primary school in Japan. And who's Shoku?
The girl?
Yeah.
Her name is Nimishia.
That's
I'm gonna apologize. No, that's her name, and then she says her nickname is like Shotuo or something.
Shoko. Okay.
I'm gonna say I don't know any of the characters' names other than
That's
her,
fine, 'cause
to
I
be
haven't
quite
watched it in
honest.
front
I
of
don't
me.
know who anyone is. I didn't even when
Yeah.
I was watching the movie, to be quite honest. There's a girl called
Yeah.
Kawaii, and I didn't know that was a
Yeah.
name. I thought it was
Yeah,
just like
Mickey
Kawaii,
Kawaii, yeah.
you know, like Kawaii.
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. Anyway, it's about him having bullied her quite fiercely when she was in primary school. She was deaf, and all she really wanted to do was she was this very sweet little girl who wants to make friends, even with people who are kind of shit to her, and overcome it. And Ishida was just the worst person on the planet.
He was a real piece of shit. Fuck. He was just an absolute dickhead.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's not just he didn't pick on her. He physically tortured her.
Yeah.
Like, he pulled her hearing aids out of her ears daily to the point where she
10 times,
to the point where she bled from her ears, and then like moved schools because of him. Like, it wasn't just your like he like makes fun of her sometimes because she can't hear him or whatever. He was a fucking do you know what I mean? Jesus.
Yeah. No, seriously.
And he's the hero.
It's not a story about heroes.
It's not
really.
But
It's not. Look, it really is about retribution and trying to also forgive yourself, I suppose, because you can definitely tell later on in life he's not doing well, and these things weigh on him dramatically. So
it's about all of those things and one girl's mission to kill the entire duck population of Tokyo.
Population.
Fish. Sorry, it's fish. Yes, my bad. It's fish.
Koi even.
It's the koi fish.
Yeah.
She hates them. She hates koi fish. So.
Okay, yeah, I know. It's like I just knew when we were watching this movie, he kept on bringing it up. It's just like I knew in your head, it's like, this is fact. If you feed fish to bread to fish, the fish die. I bet you're the same person at a wedding who's just like, you shouldn't throw rice.
Oh, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't feed. You shouldn't give ducks bread.
That's fair.
Either.
That's fair.
Or koi fish.
And you can. That's fair enough. And you can say that like once, so everyone hears you. But
I said
you just kept, and again, and again, and again. Like anytime any fish was mentioned, death.
Yeah, she's killing those fish, Daniel.
Okay, so for people listening, one of her favorite activities, even though she was bullied and probably severely emotionally scarred, and to have a glimmer of light in her life, was to feed bread to fish. And Eoin took an exception to that.
Yeah.
Eoin was very, very angry to what this animated girl was doing to these animated fish.
Yeah, I was. I stand up for what's right, Dan. Okay.
As we all know,
I'm not on the side of fish genocide. All right.
Yeah. As we all know, the animated fish stocks around the world is falling fast. There's just less and less fish being animated every year, and we need to be careful about it.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen an animated fish in a while.
In years, Jesus, not in years.
In a long, long time. Because they're not out there anymore. Because this one girl keeps feeding them bread.
Even though then the koi population boomed at one stage in the movie, which you said was the fish fighting back.
No, you said that.
No, I said she bolstered that population with bread. That was my point.
Yeah, that was your point.
Yeah, you said they were dying, but no, she actually grew that population.
Well, they died. They all died.
They had a bigger population.
All of them dead. Every fish in Tokyo died.
No, that's not it. And this is the main story of.
Yes, this is the main plot.
No, okay. Okay, so it's about Ishida, and he's, he when he's a kid, he was popular enough, makes everyone in the class laugh, messes around the teacher. We know this prick from school ourselves. But you're just like, oh, we just fuck off. and he's pretty popular with the popular kids like Ueno, no Nawaka Ueno. But there are some people who are kind of on Nishimiya's side, including Kawai and Miyoko. Even though like this is the thing, they didn't technically only ran off Nishima. They also ran off the girl that decided to be her friend in school. Do you remember? It's the one we find later on who talks about breast size with.
Oh
Shoko on the bench.
yeah. The one who's
Yeah.
like thinks she's a coward.
Yeah, that's the one. Even though she seems like spiritually very deep and balanced, she's actually a remarkable person. Like they just talk to each other. It's kind of like without her even having to listen to Nishima, she just responds like, "I understand what you mean spiritually." It's all this kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, she left school as well. And I think it was because she was bullied or because she thinks she couldn't do much about it. And yeah, later on in life, we see Ishida finding her and trying his best to make it up to her, be friendly to her. At first, there's no romance blossoming, but throughout it, we see that they care for each other more and more. Ishida starts making friends with people like Nakazuka, the heavy fella, who is definitely from My
The
Hero Academia.
pervert? Is that the pervert?
He's not really a pervert, though. Not in this movie, he isn't. He's kind
He's
of
a little bit
more
of a
like
pervert.
he's not. He's more like into Ishida, to be honest.
Well, he does also give him a bunch of money and be like, "Yo, you gotta go there and get yourself a love hotel for the night and stuff."
Nah. That's not him being a pervert. That's him just trying to be like, I have guy friends, so I'm going to talk the guy thing. That's all that
Yeah,
is.
guys are perverts.
I mean, everyone is a pervert. Yes, correct. But you know
Yes,
what I mean?
true.
I don't think it was him like going, I'm going to masturbate to the thing of you two having sex. I don't think it's that's what's going on.
We don't know. That's not what was going on. That's all I'm saying.
To be honest, I don't think it could have been anyone, not even Nishima. And I guess Suka would have probably still done it, to be honest. Yeah, we meet Nishima's little sister Yuzuru, and we get a weird flash dream sequence of her where her sister is in a pool of her own blood, and she wakes up and it turns out her grandmother died instead. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay, cool. No, like there's a scene where like Nishima is really sad, and I think it's after we found out that she was betrayed or something by Ishida, and I think with Nishima, it's kind of hinted that she had some mental health issues before this, probably from being bullied at school and that kind of thing, and her little sister had a nightmare about Nishima doing something to herself, what looks like stabbing, because she was in a pool of her own blood and there was a knife. Maybe it was even a memory. We don't really know. And she wakes up and we see her sleeping next to her granny, and her granny's just smiling. And I think we're meant to believe for a moment that Nishima might have died, until we find out that it's the grandmother's funeral, not her.
I did think Nishimiya had died at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the main character really in this is Ishida, and it's him kind of opening up again, not worrying about what people are saying about him. And like, it's not about like this, oh, no one's talking about you, you can be free, you can be by yourself. It's a lot more about saying like, some people might talk about you, but you also have your friends around you, and there's a lot of people who just don't care what you're doing. You can just be yourself. And we have like the thing that you didn't really like was the visual sort of X's in people's faces that he was kind of blocking out. You thought it was terrifying or weird?
It just odd. Like felt like it was from a different movie almost, the way it was animated and stuff. It was just a bit like it's a choice. It's a clear choice that they made for the like the artistic direction of things that I just didn't really like, to be honest.
Could you imagine if it wasn't a choice? They just did by accident, and then it's out in the cinema. And, oh shit, we left it on.
Oh, we forgot to take. We forgot to hide that layer. Shit.
Damn.
Whoops.
And people go, oh my god, it's so deep. Yeah.
It's just one of the animators has to cover when he's drawing their faces. He has to cover the other ones so he doesn't like draw them wrong.
And everyone's going like, oh my god, this is so deep.
Wow,
it's so interesting.
Wow, such a powerful choice that they made here for this. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Shoya Ishida making friends with her little sisters as well, and understanding the family and understanding the pain, and Nishima's mother, you know, Nishima's mother and Ishida's mother. It was after, I think it was like the 9th or 10th like hearing aid, and the mother literally rips out Ishida's earring in the street. Like, she's bleeding badly, and you can definitely tell that the mother is very intense. She probably is suffering as well, you know. I'm not sure about her history and what's going on, but I imagine there have been some hard times for them. So we learn a lot of that, but by the end of the movie, there's a moment where Nishima wants to kill herself. She's about to jump from an apartment down, and Ishida jumps out, holds her, brings her onto the balcony, and he falls himself into the water and is rushed to hospital, and he's unconscious for a few days, and then comes back, and people have forgiven him, and Nagazuka attacks him in the toilet. I mean, sees him in the toilets.
I mean,
yeah.
It did say he's a pervert.
So I definitely think it's a movie about making right of the bad things you've done in the past. And I think the second lesson is to be able to forgive yourself as well, to not see yourself continue to be like the horrible person that you think you are. Like, once you've done what you can to fix it, it's time to move on and be happy. And I like that. I think it's a good message. It's a complicated message because, I mean, look, no one likes bullies, you know, except, I guess, bullies. But it's important to tell the stories that of people that we might not necessarily like as well.
Yeah, I mean, you read this a lot differently than me, I think, to be honest. I didn't really like this. I think what annoyed me, like, immediately after watching is that it felt like a movie I should have liked. Okay,
I thought you would love this, yeah.
Like, it is dealing with a lot of very important concepts and themes, all right? But it's almost like there's too many of them for this one film.
Yeah.
Like, it wants to talk about, like, you know, like self-image, self-belief, suicide, depression, like redemption, regret, guilt, all of these big things, which I think all are deserving of being talked about in film and in just generally. But it's almost like if there's just too many things that it wants to talk about, and it doesn't really, for me, talk about any of them adequately, to be honest. And my biggest thing is that the whole thing is just constantly seeped in, like, just, it's so constantly, relentlessly sad. There's not a single breathing moment in the whole thing. It's just,
everything's melodramatic.
It's massive melodrama. It's like an anime for Grey's Anatomy fans. It's just, it's huge. It's just like, from the opening scene, is just everything is shit. These people are sad, and the whole movie is just everybody running around going, "I'm sad. I regret everything. I
there's
cry."
a lot of hope and good in there as well.
It's all people apologizing to each other for 2 hours.
I don't know. I think that's a bit unfair. There's definitely moments of people looking after each other, being kind towards each other, people appreciating that friendship, kindness, love. That's there as well. It's just that, like, I've kind of agree with you, is that there is no breathing space. Everything is pumped up to 11 for every single moment. and that is a bit exhausting.
Yeah, it's to the point where I was thinking about this yesterday. I think, to me, it felt manipulative. The movie, like everything in it, even the soundtrack was just so heightened, and it just felt like, here, look, cry, do some crying, have a cry now with this kind of thing, right? I think if I had watched this on my own, I probably would have fell for it more. And I think maybe I would have left the movie probably teary-eyed and going, "Oh, that was sad, but it was nice."
I
wasn't
definitely enjoyed it in cinema more than I did on the rewatch.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
cinema was quiet.
Yeah, I feel like if it had just been me and I was sitting at home watching this on Netflix, I probably would have cried, and I probably would have been like, "Oh, Jesus, that was nice." That's so sad, but it was nice, wasn't it? Whereas like watching it, we watched it together, so watching it there, I was just kind of like, I know what this movie wants me to do. There's a clear reaction that this movie wants me to have, but and it's annoying me that it's trying to force me to. It feels like it's trying to shove this, like, go here, you be sad now. Look how sad this is. Isn't everyone sad? And I just didn't like that. I was just like, no, just
Okay.
It's the girl in the back of the gym in Mean Girls. It's just I have so many feelings. Like, I don't know. Just pick one. Pick a feeling.
I mean, I get it. I definitely think there was more than just sadness in it. I think there was profound happiness in it too. But I also understand that, look, the way we watch a movie once in a while is like, what the fuck is going on here? Because, we all suffer from toxic masculinity, and sometimes we can't get past our emotions, so we have to joke about them as we watch it.
Yeah, but even the moments that were supposed to be hopeful and somewhat happy felt sad.
Think?
Yeah, it was like, okay, this should be a nice moment, but it feels sad. It feels like the movie wants me to be sad still. Like there's no, even like, it was just, I don't know. It was too much for me, to be honest.
All right, should we go into our next section then? Right. So what was your Jesus moment?
My Jesus moment.
Jesus.
Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. I think I'm trying to give myself time to think a little bit.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. You do one.
I think it's Nishimiya's little sister, Yuzuru. Definitely at the beginning. Here's the thing. I watched this initially, and I pretty much forgot everything about the movie since. So there's a part of me going like, is this a girl or a boy? And I never bought the whole, their boyfriend. I thought it was a girl. I thought it might have been a lesbian story. So there's like unrequited love going on there. But, it turns out she's just Nishimiya's sister. And I thought it was a fun moment as well, where you're like, oh, sister, yeah. She does like the sign language for girl. And it said, oh, sister. I thought that was like the whole thing. Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Is it a non-binary person? Like, I mean, that would be a cool concept. Is this like friendship love, or is this romantic love? I personally, I think the more I think about it, obviously there must have been a hint to Nishimiya or Shoku, her having tried to commit suicide before. I think that's why her sister is so protective of her. It's why the mother is so protective of her. That it's not even just a sibling love. It's almost like she said in the movie, like, that was my job to keep her safe. It's almost like a protective role. And so it's kind of weird to read the chemistry to see, like, what's her deal? So when the reveal came, it was quite pleasant. Oh, geez, okay, fair enough.
I think I lost track of who you were talking about there.
The little girl who we thought was a boy at first.
Oh yeah. Because they thought she was a boy as well.
Yeah.
They called her a boy several times, and I just accepted it.
Yeah.
We're like, no,
there were too many markings going on, like stereotypical, like anime science for it to be a girl. I definitely was like, well, this is a girl. Otherwise, they're doing some trans narrative, which would have been, really interesting, because I haven't actually seen much trans narrative in anime. And let's be fair, most Western stuff as well.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. But yeah. So did you think of an outrageous
I
moment?
thought one and I've forgotten it again. I had one and then I got confused, and now I can't remember it. To be honest.
Okay.
So it's gone from me. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's perfect.
I'll give you one off the top of my head. It's that the main guy's mother has have you ever seen The Neverending Story?
Yes.
You know, if you heard the soundtrack song?
Yeah.
The Never-Ending Story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the band
What about
the band that sang that are called Limahl, I think is their name. And if you have
Okay.
Google open and you Google Limahl, the main guy's mother has the same haircut as the singer from Limahl.
Okay.
So there you go.
I look at. Oh,
Yeah, you see it?
you're right. You're
The
right.
exact same. I thought this when I was watching it. I was like, wow, is this a Never-Ending Story callback? It's probably not, but it's the exact same haircut.
Oh, here's another one. The Who, the band, the song at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah,
You-
my generation opens the movie. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
weird one. So
Yeah.
probably,
I
maybe
think
it's not
actually
weird, but it's
apparently it was re-recorded for it as well. It's not like the original. It's like the Who, but they did another recording.
it's a
for the
different.
movie.
Is it the Who or did some other
Yeah,
band
it is the
record it?
Who. No, it's the Who. Like that's the big deal.
I thought one of the guys in the Who was dead.
I guess it's the remaining Who's. There's.
No, that's
I suppose
Who-
another
that's a different band.
Hosers. Yeah. I
Who's
suppose
yours?
like another Jay's one was Naoka Ueno. You know, the psychopath girl.
That was it. That's what I thought of. It's her whole thing, because she's a fucking nut job. She's
Yeah,
just
she
she's just a bad person through and through, to be quite
She
honest.
really is.
Yeah, she's a real
like
piece of work.
Like she kind of bullies her. Actually, she bullies her less in childhood, and then in adulthood gets really shitty.
She bullies
You know?
everybody though.
Yeah.
She's just one of those people that's just like at one point, doesn't she she tries to force the main guy to like, remember when they're at the theme park and she brings him over, she's like, hey, let's go buy food together or whatever. And the guy that's working at the food stand is his former
Friend from them.
best friend or something, and she tries to like she does a lot of weird shit. She's a weird girl.
Yeah. It's weird. The thing is, I will say, like Nishimiya's little sister seemed to have understood her straight away, which says, "Oh, you're going on the Ferris wheel with her. Just take my camera here, to record what's going to happen on that in case we have to sue her ass."
Yeah, just
she
in
was
case she throws you off the Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have video evidence of it.
and she just kind of punches her a lot. And
Yeah.
like,
She also likes
Nishimiya-
she meet what
you hate me and I hate you. She's like, and Nishimiya, which is she's most loveliest little girl, said, "No, I don't hate you. I hate me." And it's just like, and then she starts beating her. It's like, what the fuck?
yeah, like the first time she meets Nishimiya after what, like, I guess 5 or 6 years, I suppose, she meets her in the street and pulls her hearing aids out.
Yeah, because that's what you do if you just meet people,
Yeah.
you know.
It's like, okay, come on, you're like 17. Why would you?
Yeah.
You can't just do that to people. You couldn't. You shouldn't do it regardless of what age
As
you
a
are.
child,
Like, but it's
you're
like,
an awful
what,
piece of shit, yeah.
like surely there is some sort of a case to be made that I don't want to say it. That I don't want to be like, oh, they're just kids, kind of thing. But like, surely she should have grown up enough by that point to at least be
She
like,
should probably regret it.
yeah,
like,
she should at
Jesus
least be
Christ.
like, well, you know, we were real bad to this girl when we were kids.
Yeah.
But no, she's just a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, I think we slowly see her warm a little bit near the end when she does do the sign language. To call her an idiot, call Nishima an idiot. She does the sign language, which is meant to be which Nishima really loved. She's like, "Oh my god, yay!"
I tell you what, something I was thinking about whilst watching this, just because you've brought up the sign language thing. I thought it was odd how they handled that at times in the movie. From
How do you mean?
like, there was a lot of times where characters were speaking to Nishimiya, or she was part of a conversation, and they just weren't using sign language, but they were
she
still talking to her. There was other
Yeah.
times where like characters were using sign language, but the camera would move the frame so that you couldn't see their hands.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, to be fair.
It was just felt like, for a movie that's centered around a deaf girl, it felt like
could
an
show
odd
that more.
choice not to make that like
Yeah.
a key element of the whole movie, of showing them and getting that right, like accurately doing sign language and stuff.
There were a few moments.
There
but
was
yeah,
like
I know.
it happened in bits and pieces, but even all the conversations with the main guy and Nishimiya, and it was like a thing that he had learned sign language, or whatever.
The only
But
time
he
we
would
see-
do it. He would do like little bits of it and then just talk normally. It was just like,
The only time we really see it is when Nishimiya and Ishida are talking on the bridge, and her sister's using her camera to zoom up and see what they're saying to each other, while
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
like even towards the
yeah.
end of the movie, Nishimiya like starts trying to speak to them.
Yeah.
With normally, like with her voice rather than use the sign language. It was just a weird thing that I picked up on when we were watching it, that it's generally, well, not generally, I suppose, but for a movie that kind of centers around that, or has one of its main characters be a deaf person who uses Japanese sign language to communicate. Yeah, I thought they could have focused on that better, or like made more of a, not, I don't want to say they didn't make an effort to do it, but like at least had some clarity in that, I suppose.
And I'm sure it'd be very simple getting references anyway. You know, you could just get people to come into the studio and they could take photographs from certain angles and videos and then animate it.
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, I don't know if it was an animation choice that they decided it was too difficult.
I think it probably was.
It probably was. Maybe it was a budgetary thing that they were like, we can't.
Saying that though,
you know,
outside of that, it's a really beautiful movie animation wise. Like the entire movie is really good looking. Like, it definitely reminded me of movies that you've mentioned before, which is why My Name and this have a lot of the same like anime like beauty in it. I felt, especially with backgrounds and stuff.
Your name.
Yeah. My name.
Not my name.
Whose
Your
name?
Posy. They're similar. They're similar art styles for a lot of it. I don't think this is as pretty.
No, it's not. It's not as. But
Your Name, but they are similarly drawn.
No, like the work has been put in. Like it's really well done. Yeah. Look, let's get to the last bit.
Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
Did you enjoy this movie?
Not really. Like, I didn't. Enjoy is the wrong word, I think, to be honest. I didn't watch it and have a great time or anything. I think the main thing was I was disappointed in it, which is a strange thing to say because it's just a movie and I shouldn't put so much expectations on a film to keep me everything I want. But it was kind of like, if the art style, like, I get why you saw this and thought I would like it, to be honest. And I think that's the worst part of it for me, is that like I feel like it's something I should have liked. I should have watched this and got a lot of feeling from it and found it to be kind of the profound work that a lot of people seem to. Like, I was looking at the reviews on this, even like on Letterboxd and in other places, are, I guess, overwhelmingly positive for the most part. But all of the reviews are generally like, oh my God, 5 stars, I cried so much. That they're not like, they don't really talk about anything else. It's just like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for how sad this is. Oh my God, I'm crying so hard, 5 stars. And then there's a couple of...
Can I ask a personal question though?
Yeah.
Now, like, so we've watched Ghost in the Shell. You didn't think much of it outside of the animation. The animation is fantastic. I think no one would doubt that. Now, I've known people who watched A Silent Voice. I've not watched people Ghost in the Shell. Do you think it's general anime movies in general that are like you don't connect with, or because you do like some of them?
No, not at all. I don't see. Here, this is the thing, right?
I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just a genuine question. Like,
what I like about anime in general is that anime treats animation as a medium and not a genre. Western animation seems to have at some point decided that animation is a genre when it's not. Animation is a piece, a tool that you can use to tell a story in another genre. So an animated movie can be an action movie, it can be a noir, it can be a western, it can be an adventure like fantasy, it can be romantic. Those are genres. Animation is a medium. And I like that anime seems to understand that it's not, we think of it as, oh, it's an anime, but it's sort of it's more of a like drama, like sort of
it's a medium.
It's a teen coming of age drama type thing more so, and the animation is used as a tool to tell that story within that genre, which I like. I like that about anime in general, just as a thing.
I will also say, like, anytime cartoons do try to go beyond the genre, for example, Batman the Animated Series, right? The art is used to go beyond just a genre. It's there to tell a story and bring everything together. And I think usually when animation's really fucking good, it's doing exactly what you're saying in the West. Like, it's not often.
Those are the best animated things that have ever come out of the West.
Into the Spider-Verse, it really told a story there. Like,
it's animated, yes. It is an animated product. But that's not, it's animation is not a genre. It's not a, like, that's, you know, we've sort of decided to turn it into that, where we're like, oh, it's an animation, it has to have this in it, it has to have these tropes or whatever. I don't know if that's a product of like Disney films or if it's just a general, like, not giving
Saturday morning breakfast.
You know what I mean? It's probably just that's what we were given from animation. But like it's you know, it's a tool that you can use for anything.
Really interesting perspective, actually. Fair play to you.
Thanks. There's my one coherent thought for this season. Thanks, guys.
No, I'm very interested in hearing that, and I think I agree with you a lot. I suppose it's just you have certain tastes for anime movies, and you do.
I have certain tastes for movies in general.
Exactly.
The thing. And it's not like I would never say I don't like anime.
To pull you from the fire, in so to speak, Blade Runner you didn't love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ghost in the Shell you didn't love, and those two movies tell very similar stories.
They're the same movie.
They're not the
same movie, but they are very similar. And there's obviously something.
You just don't like that kind of movie.
There's obviously something in that story that don't vibe with. It's not that like I would never ever say I don't like anime as a whole, because anime is a medium and there's 100 million different things within that. So like I didn't particularly like this. I could watch another anime next week and go, yeah, I loved that. That was great. But that's just movies.
You feel like that about movies in general?
Cause that's what I mean. It's just
like watch a movie. It's fine. You know what movie I watched? Not to go into review it. I finally watched Tolkien.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
No, I didn't really think it would be, to be quite honest.
It's all right. Like, it's not terrible, but it's like it got like close to the end. Like, it was like start talking about like the books, and he's like running with his kids through the forest, and I was like, oh cool, now I'm gonna start hearing about like Lord of the Rings. And I checked the timeline, it was like 1 minute left, and okay, never mind.
But
it was just it was fine. You know, I don't think they also put in, I'm not even sure if it's factually correct, a bit of a gay romance. One of his friends clearly liked Tolkien a bit more in this movie.
Was it C.S. Lewis?
No, it wasn't C.S. Lewis. Okay. But there was definitely like, you know, unrequited love kind of thing going on. And there's a part of me saying like, you know, I appreciate any new kind of storytelling, and that's grand. But there's part of me like, I tried to look it up and see if there was any like factual base on it, and if the guy, you know, was gay. I couldn't find anything. Now, if anyone finds it for me, fantastic. Let me see. But I'm like, when you're writing about something about real people, do you want to just add a plot just to spice it up a bit? If it was made up, seems a bit strange.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, ooh. Or
Yeah,
if that was what the writers of the movie read into that relationship.
yeah. And look, if someone has an article where the writers explain this, I'd love to read it. And again, I have nothing really against it. I'm just wondering, like, if it is just made up from nowhere, I'm like, Jesus, that's not great to do for someone,
Yeah.
because he probably has relatives that are still alive and that kind of stuff. Like, nothing wrong with like saying that he's gay. It's just like, if he's not, why would you? Same way if there was a gay man and he said, and they were just good friends, you know.
So what did you think of A Silent Voice?
I don't know. Went off a tangent there. Tell me what you thought of talking. Silent Voice. I liked it more the first time around. I understand it at an emotion level a lot. Like, it does. I understand having done things in the past that you cringe and regret, and you carry on with you, and that you just like letting go of things you've done in the past is hard. Like, it's really hard. It's a thing you have to work on and accept, and you don't really let it go. You just kind of learn how to carry it better, I suppose. And this movie does that in a really decent way, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my view on. Owen, what are we watching next week? What are we watching?
We're not fucking doing anything next week, motherfucker. It's a week
what are we doing in 2 weeks? Sorry.
We're doing Dune.
Dune.
Dune is
Are we going to
next.
say Dune or June?
Dune.
I've been saying June the whole time.
You say June. I say
Yeah.
You say it like the month June.
I say June. You say Dune.
Yeah. We're doing
Tomato.
Dune. Yeah. So we're gonna do. We're going to watch the new one because it's out on the 22nd. So we're gonna go see that and when it's out. And we're also going to talk a little bit about 1980, the David Lynch 80s Dune. The last time that they attempted to put this on the big screen.
Yeah, we were going to do 2 separate episodes. We'd just be talking about the same things again. So
yeah,
it wasn't really worth.
So it's cool. We're going to do both. We'll try our best not to spoil the new one for people. I mean, we'll try, but I am very thoroughly on record as saying I don't give a shit about spoilers.
No, hold on. We're going to review this movie. We're going to talk about it. Folks, we'll give a spoiler warning at the beginning if you get about the episode. Come back to us when you're ready to watch it. I think we're going to talk about the movie.
Yeah, Dune. We're doing Dune.
Yeah. So better get those cinema tickets soon. But yeah, that's it from me. I think it's from Owen.
Yeah, I've said all I have to say. I'm exhausted.
Yes, he's very. It's what time is it now, Owen? It is
time you had to watch.
The old classic.
Got him.
You know, I remember the first time, just before we go, I remember the first time when I was over here in Ireland, I was like 10 years old. And do you remember all those Argos watches that everyone was getting at the time, that ones like the blue in them and silver? Like, there was silver mostly, and like had blue body and stuff. They were, every single man in their 30s and 40s were buying these fucking things. They were cheap as dust, and people were buying it. And I remember, like, I think I was at a friend's house in Maxtown at the time. Don't hunt down my ID. And we were just like, I think one of the friends was like, "Dad, what time is it?" And the dad just puts up his hand with the watch. "Time you gotta watch!" And got in the car and drove off.
I mean, it's a classic.
Anyway,
it's a classic.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's it from me. And Owen, we'll see you in 2 weeks for Dune.
Asherlo.